Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition and Waka and Tammy with the Flocka. So, on Marriage Bootcamp, the episode is supposed to be lie detector test day. So, everybody's nervous. Everybody is wondering, is their partner going to lie about something? Will lies be detected on this episode of Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition? Well, not really, because they'll take the test, but they'll wait until next week to let us know what the results are. So yeah, don't even get excited that I'm going to tell you that. But let's go ahead and get into it. So upon waking up that morning, everybody's feeling the nervous energy. Bianca wants to know if there's anything Chose has to say to her before they even go through all of this. And he says, man, look, let's just go through the process. I heard that, he got, because I don't want to talk about it on my channel. But y'all know I heard, that's what they said. That's what Bianca said. That's what Gossip said. So, yeah, I hope he's okay. But she was saying it as if that was the reason why he wasn't around her. And I'm just kind of like, sure. I bet he's quarantined with that white girl. But never mind. Let's press on. michel'le and Stu have a conversation, and you guys, whenever michel'le and Stu have conversations, I feel like I never know what is going on. What are we talking about here? And michel'le is saying how she thinks that Stu is into her more than she's into him. And, she feels like, she's more guarded. She has layers, all right? And he's more open. And I just kind of... I'm over michel'le and her hang-ups. I almost feel like it's a passive aggressiveness with the hang-ups. You know what I'm saying? And I want her to get past it. Like I want her to get past it. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Jocelyn has ballistics up in the ward this morning. Okay, she says that he really needs to say something about the situation with Stu. Okay, if you feel like Stu is coming on to me, then you need to have a conversation with Stu. Okay, and stop taking it out on me. Okay, so that's how Jocelyn feels about ballistics. Ballistics feels like he don't know what the hell Jocelyn is talking about. Okay, but she says ever since michel'le put it out there that she's just Stu's type and all of this type of stuff, it's been on ballistics' mind. And there have been other situations that have made him feel some type of way. I'm like, oh, what type of other situations can we be talking about here? Child, let's go ahead and get into it, okay? So everybody is downstairs waiting to get instructions, and Jocelyn just kind of puts that out on the table, and it just causes ballistics to get upset. I mean, ballistics went ballistic. He jumped up out of his seat and went upstairs. Dr. Ish had to run behind him because he didn't like the way Jocelyn came at him. For him, it's not even about Stu. It's about her putting an issue that he's having that I guess he doesn't feel comfortable expressing out on Front Street instead of letting him do it the way he wants to do it, I guess. Because he's not even really saying that he has an issue with Stu. But I guess in private, the conversations that Jocelyn and ballistics are having are different from what he's telling us in the confessionals. And I guess he doesn't want to seem like he's insecure, because that does seem like you're a tad bit insecure. Like, do you really think that Chef Stu is going to steal Jocelyn away from you? Like, think about that. So, yeah. Jocelyn says she thinks that ballistics is acting a fool because he doesn't want to take the lie detector test. Okay, that's what I really think the problem is. Okay, he doesn't want to take the lie detector test. I said, child, he don't have a choice. He signed up to do this. That's what we're here for. You're going to take the lie detector test. It doesn't even matter what he wants to do. It doesn't even matter if he has a temper tantrum and storms off upstairs to his bedroom and Dr. Ish has to run upstairs in his little tight suit. Like, it doesn't matter. You still going to take this lie detector test. Judge Lynn comes out and says, you know what, ballistics will be back. Let's go ahead and press on with the rest of the day. Everyone has a question to pick, a question that they would like to ask their partner for the lie detector test. Judge gets to decide whether your question will stand or whether she will pose a question of her own. michel'le wants to know, were you in love with me the first month? Were you in love with me? Okay, which translates to Stu. Did you have emotional feelings for michel'le the first month that you met her? That's the question. Stu wants to know, does michel'le really love him? That question will stand. Something we all want to know, because it doesn't seem that way. CeeLo pulls this question out of his ass. I just want to know, Shiny, have you really changed? I said, CeeLo, if you don't get out of my face with this, I'm so glad that judge said, I think not. That is not the question. CeeLo really wants to know if Shiny is with him because of him or because of his money and his success and his celebrity and his musical talent. Or maybe just his way with words. I doubt it. Okay? Like, I really feel like Shiny loves CeeLo. I'm not that clear yet on why. I'm sure there's a softer side of him we have not seen. But yeah. He tried it. He tried it with that question. Boy, bye. You know you want to know if this girl is with you for your money or not. Shani wants to know if CeeLo will ever marry her. Child. That's a good question because inquiring minds want to know. Are you serious about her, CeeLo? Or are you trying to sabotage the relationship? Let us know. Ajua wants to know if Styles P had feelings for the woman he cheated on her with. That is a good question. That question will stand. Styles P wants to know if Ajua blames him for their daughter's death. That question also, good, will stand. Bianca wants to know if Chose loves her or somebody else. Okay? And Judge says, let's fix that a little bit. Let's say, Chose. Do you want to be with Bianca? Chose, are you in an emotional relationship with someone else? That's his question. He wants to know if Bianca has gotten pregnant by anybody else in 2019. Chose, go on ahead away from me with this. I just can't with him. Ballistics comes back to the group, but he doesn't want to sit next to Jocelyn. They get into it, and she says that she doesn't trust him. He says that she's a stone cold nut. I said, yeah, my nigga, you just figuring that out? You don't know who you with? Judge Lynn gives Jocelyn her question for Ballistics. Does he want to marry her? And Ballistics' question is, Jocelyn going to leave me if I don't propose to her or marry her in 8 months? Jocelyn talks to Dr. Ish on her own after that exercise, and Jocelyn says, I'm tired of making him feel good about himself, okay? I'm tired of coaxing his ego. What about me? What about my feelings, okay? She feels like Ballistics decided to treat her like trash, so she returned the favor. That's all. Outside, Styles P says something very, very vital to this situation. He says that he overheard, and Ajua said she heard this as well. Stu said that if michel'le wanted to have a threesome, that one of these men would be missing their wives, okay? And when you say something like that, people are not going to kiki about that. They're going to find it disrespectful that you even put that out on the table during a process like this when trust is an issue in some of these relationships. Stu, what are you thinking about? He's always trying to make a joke where there should be none. There should be no cackle. There should be no giggle. There should be no joke. Especially not about you sleeping with one of these dudes' old ladies. Okay? Yeah, Stu. No. So they start the lie detector test process, okay? And during, Jocelyn tells Stu that he needs to have a conversation with Ballistics, okay? You need to talk to him, okay? And y'all need to keep me out of y'all bullshit, okay? Because I don't have nothing to do with this, okay? You need to tell him that you and I don't have nothing going on. I'm like, girl, I don't think that he even really needs to say that. But look, I'm going to say why I don't feel like he needs to say that. Because I feel like he's already said that before. And I think realistically, you don't even want no Stu. And she tells that to michel'le later on. I got pissed off with Jocelyn because I felt like she was, kind of digging her knife into michel'le. Like, oh, I can't piss Ballistics off because he's not going to engage with me right now. So I'm going to sit here and blame michel'le. Now, michel'le, you did put that out there and you did start all of this foolishness at the end of the day. But I didn't like the way I felt like Jocelyn was trying her. Like, she knew michel'le wasn't going to try to fight her or something like that, or wasn't going to go hard on her because that's not the type of personality she is. So it almost felt like she was picking on michel'le, saying stuff like, I don't want him, okay? I don't think he's good enough for you, let alone good enough for me, okay? You know what I'm saying? And that really was a low blow. And michel'le was like, oh, okay. I'm not making these drinks fast enough. And I was just like, well, really, michel'le probably wanted to tell her to go fuck herself. You know what I'm saying? But you're not about to get into it with no damn Jocelyn. Like, it's just not even going to work out. So why get yourself upset? I totally understand michel'le. She handled it like a grown woman that ain't got time for this foolishness. Okay, let Jocelyn go through whatever emotion she going through. But I think if she would have tried that shit with Ajua or Shiny, the situation would have turned out much different. Stu felt like Jocelyn saying something to him was her looking for somebody else to come at sideways. And I do agree with that. But at the same time, I hate to say I feel like why she came to him and said that. Because let me say, like, okay, I feel like as a woman, you don't need another man to coincide. You don't need another man to validate that you're not out here doing your man flaw. Like, I don't need to tell no other man to tell my man nothing. Okay, so that's why I felt like that was unnecessary. But I also felt like Stu, as a man on his own, needed to go and clear the air with ballistics just because of the vibe of the house. Nobody wants to have to wonder if at any point you two very hood men are going to, punch the shit out of one another. Nobody wants that, okay? Because I don't know if security is going to be able to break it up before it gets too bad, okay? Because ballistics and Stu both look like when it really comes down to it, somebody might get hurt. And I mean hurt, not for play hurt. Stu is starting to think that marriage boot camp is the worst thing he's ever done in his life. I think he's over exaggerating a bit much. Ballistics and Stu run into each other at the end of the stairwell and, dap it off. And Ballistics says that he doesn't even have an issue with Stu. It's about the way Jocelyn came at him. I said, well, I wish you would have said that to Stu personally instead of going upstairs and having a temper tantrum, but whatever. So Judge and Dr. Ish tell everybody that there were 4 people where deception was indicated, and that they will get the results the next day. But for that night, everybody is single. The boys are going out and the girls are going out separately. When they come back, they'll stay in Jocelyn and Ballistics' room and Shani and CeeLo's room, I think, are the 2 rooms that everybody's going to sleep in. So Jocelyn and Ballistics ended up getting into it in the bathroom upstairs while everybody was getting dressed. And she was screaming and hollering at the top of her lungs, "You trying to make me look crazy. You evil. You just wanted to think," going off. Child, I'm not about to do that to my vocals right now, child. Let me get this tea. But yeah, she was going off, irate. Child had the little Caucasian lady producer all nervous and scared, knocking on the door. They didn't lock the doors. And she was like, "I'm trying to have a conversation with my man." Okay, it's like, well, we need to make sure you safe in here. Okay, we heard y'all screaming. Y'all locking doors. We had to make sure that everybody was safe. And really, she was just screaming. And she might have threw something at him, but they weren't fighting or anything. Like, they weren't physically fighting. She might have yelled and threw something, but I don't think she was hitting him. Just the way the whole commotion sounded. But either way, everybody gets dressed and they leave. All right, the boys go out to the club. Chooses get some females to come and sit next to him. Everybody's drinking, rolling up the weed, having a good time. Stu got toe up, okay, which is to be expected because Stu gets toe up. I mean, he was toe up. I saw him passed out, then up again with a red light on him, talking to himself. Just way too much going on with son. He definitely needs to go ahead and seek some, like, every week type therapy. Even if you got to get on video chat right now, Stu, I think you need to work through all of the things that happened to you. I think just putting them in the back of your mind and acting like, you got past it when obviously you didn't, because I think the way you get drunk shows that you are trying to dead shit inside. Okay, and that's usually why we get drunk. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying therapy might help you not take alcohol to the wrong level. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that's cool for you to be like passing out every time y'all start drinking. And it just kind of seems like it happens often with him, but whatever. Child, I'm gonna be late for my live. When the women go out, they bored. And Jocelyn takes one more opportunity to try to take a dig at michel'le. "Oh, what happened? Why you make that face?" Child, nothing. Listening, okay? michel'le is not about to go there with Jocelyn. But they all go out, and them heifers was bored. So they went back home, and the boys was still out having a good time. Child, that was it. That was all. Waka and Tammy. Y'all, Waka and Tammy are like the most ridiculous emotional roller coaster that you will ever want to go on. So Tammy has been acting shitty towards Waka ever since the therapy session, which is to be expected because he sat there and told her that, the therapy session was about him and what he was going through, and then he blamed her for all of their problems, okay? She does a double dutch tournament, and it was really cute to see her having fun, and it made her think about her childhood. And Charlie's there, and she's not engaged. She's on her phone. She's in her own little world, and her mom wants her to be engaged and enjoying the world around her, but she's just being a sullen teenager, and it's so obnoxious. Like, it's so obnoxious. Tammy has had the idea to take Charlie back to her old neighborhood in Baltimore so she can have an understanding of what her parents had to go through, so she can have the lifestyle that she's been afforded. Charlie thinks that she understands exactly where her mom has come from. She don't understand why she got to keep telling her all the damn time. She know exactly where she came from. She don't need to keep going through this, but she feel like she's going through her own thing, and it doesn't relate to what her parents went through or what her grandmother went through. So why is she expected to feel something about what they went through if it's not something she's went through? I said because it's called sympathy and empathy, young child. It's called empathy. It's called seeing that something hurts your grandmother, or something hurts your mom, or something means something a lot to them. So, act like it means something to you, if only for their feelings, because they do so much for you and they are so considerate of your feelings. It would behoove you to be considerate of theirs and not be a brat and act so emotionally removed from things that have been traumatic for them. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand that Charlie is a teenager, and I think that when she gets older, things will come into focus for her and things will be clearer. She's a teenager. Her brain isn't, done forming yet, and that is apparent. Tammy talks to her mom about the therapy session with Waka and how she doesn't feel like she got anything out of it because she doesn't think she has any issues. I said, now, I don't know who told you that. You have anger issues just like your mama said. You don't know how to talk to people. I understand that. I also see that Waka loves to aggravate the shit out of you, and then when you become this irate person, all of a sudden you're the bad guy, but he's turned on. Yet also he wants to talk in therapy about how bad you talk to him. That's where he work on my nerves. So I do understand your plight. I understand how much you go through, Tammy, but you are not perfect. And to sit up there and say that you couldn't get anything out of therapy after people keep telling you got anger issues, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, girl. I don't know how many times the Lord need to tell you through different mouths that you got anger issues that you can work on. I don't know what else to say, y'all. I mean, it's almost like Tammy needs to look at Charlie's withdrawal. She needs to look at that as the result of her lack of emotion when it comes to the way she handles things. If you're always handling things with anger, a lot of times your children become internal creatures. Like, if you somebody that's always and so extra and screaming and hollering at your kids all the time, sometimes, especially with girls, those girls start to become like quiet kids, and you never know what the hell is going on with them because they sitting there quiet and you screaming and hollering, talk to me, you know what I mean? So I just kind of feel like it's just going to take some time. And I think that if Tammy works on herself, it can only be, better for her daughter, for her to, have some emotional growth herself. For her to think that there is no growth for her to have, I just think she lost her damn mind. So Deb and Waka spend some time together this episode, and she tells Waka that Tammy has a lot on her plate and she needs some damn help. And I was appreciative of this scene because I feel like somebody needs to tell Waka that he needs to help her and be more of a parent and more of a husband in their household, and get out of this mindset that all you have to do is be there, now and again and pay for shit. That's not all your job is, So I feel like it's so easy for them to just throw everything on the woman. But as soon as somebody asks them to do something more than they want to do, then all of a sudden you asking for too much. It's exhausting. Tammy wants to do this listening party for her music, but Waka is in label head mode because he is the head of the label that she is on, and he feels like her music isn't ready for that. She needs to finish her project first. He talked to her so bad, because he wants her to do what he wants her to do, and it's kind of obnoxious for him to think he can separate being her husband and being the head of her label. You can't separate those two things, because she's always going to go home with you and feel some type of way about whatever you have said to her when you were the label head. So when they get home, he's trying to act like nothing happened and she's still feeling some type of weight. But she's taking this trip to Baltimore, so, she's happy to have the time apart. he feels like he needs to work on himself so he can show her that he's listening. And this is when I'm like, oh, okay, this is the Waka that I like. Okay, when it looked like he got some sense. Waka and his brothers go back to their old neighborhood because he is trying to revitalize the neighborhood. He bought these apartments that have just been renovated. He wants to open up a basketball court down the street, you know, just help the kids in the neighborhood. He always wants to be of service, and I appreciate him for that. We also see that the trucking company he has is for felons. When they get out of jail, they can sleep in their truck, they can work off their truck. Like, it gives them a way to get on their feet and have something of their own, and, you know, make them feel pride as men after being told what to do for so damn long. So I think what Waka does in the community is fantastic, and it's one of the best things about him. So Tammy takes Charlie, you know, to the neighborhood to see what is going on in Baltimore. First of all, everything is dilapidated. Like, it's like ghost around there. Okay, talk about a drought. All right, everything is boarded up. Everybody, you know, it's obvious there's a lot of violence. A lot of people get killed in that neighborhood, and she just doesn't understand, you know, the severity of the situation. She thinks she understands the severity of the situation, but somehow she thinks her issues, you know, with having to wonder if her friends are clout chasers or not is, you know, more severe or just as severe as what her mom went through, you know, having to have a parent that was on drugs and wasn't around, and them having to show up to these turkey drives to get food because they didn't have enough. Okay, basically living in a dilapidated house themselves. The floor wasn't never stable. Like, Tammy went through a lot growing up, a lot of fighting, a lot of having to do it for herself, and she wants her daughter to appreciate how hard she's worked, because she doesn't want her daughter to grow up and feel like she doesn't have to work for anything. You know, that's the last thing you want when you didn't have to get some shit out the mud, is for your kids to be privileged and be the kids that you hated growing up. Charlie doesn't really seem to be getting it, and they do this turkey drive where they're giving away food, and Tammy's mom is trying to talk to Charlie, and she's just not paying attention. She's giggling and laughing and, you know, just so not engaged, and it really hurt her grandmother's feelings. And she told her, she was like, you know, you really hurt my feelings. And Charlie is like, you really want me to be upset, Grandma? She was like, I'm just trying to have a good time. I really don't want my mood to be brought down. And, you know, Tammy's mom is like, I understand that, baby, but I just want you to understand, you know, what's going on around you. I want you to see how blessed you are. So, you know, it's a lot trying to get her to understand where her mom and her grandmother are coming from. And I feel like if she doesn't get it right now, she'll get it. She'll get it one day. As long as you are putting it into her, eventually one day the things will start to come into her life and make sense. So then they have this 80th birthday party for Tammy's grandmother, who had a stroke, and, you know, she can't move on one side, and after her husband died, you know, years ago, she stopped speaking. But they threw her 80th birthday party, and everybody was there. And after, you know, having all of this with Charlie, Tammy really wished that Waka was there. As much as she was happy for them to have time apart, she missed him. So yeah, he actually showed up. Him and Deb, they showed up, you know, in support, and she was so happy he was there. And then we got to see the lovey-dovey side of them again. Now, the one thing, you know, I think is so obnoxious about them is how they're like, oh, we're always going to argue. Of course, people are going to argue. There's nothing wrong with arguing. But when you're arguing about everything all the damn time, I know you don't think so, but I think somebody is going to get tired of all of that damn arguing all the time at some point. One of y'all going to get tired of it, okay? Because it's cool if that's y'all thing. But I think at some point as we get older, y'all are still in y'all 30s. Like, when y'all get in y'all 40s and 50s, that shit is going to be tiring. Nobody's going to want to keep doing that all the time. Especially the shit that Waka does. That immature, aggravating, you know, aggravating you type stuff. But anyway, y'all, that was Marriage Boot Camp, Waka and Tammy, and all of that. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And I will see y'all in the next video.